everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So it's time for the dogs to run around the yard. And while they're running around getting their exercise, I'm going to talk to you guys about how are Americans making it? How are they affording to live in this economy? Well, there's amazing clips for y'all, but I want to make one point to you guys. The cost of living, inflation, the price of goods, the taxes, and the fact that nobody's getting the cost of living increases and all that the federal government gets and state workers get every single year. We aren't, the taxpayers aren't getting those. So how are Americans affording to live? The sad fact is the majority of them are paycheck to paycheck and credit cards. Without the credit cards, I read an article the other day, something like 62% of Americans could not make it from paycheck to paycheck. And this is the milk and honey country. Can you imagine what the rest of the world looks like? And whether or not you agree with what I'm fixing to say, I want you to hear me out. Allowing people who are not citizens of America to vote is going to cause an increase in taxes and more funding to be funneled to illegal migrants and aliens than to the American people and the things that you need in your community to happen. Now, on a federal level, illegals are not allowed to vote. But on state, county, municipal, parish, citywide voting, there are places that are now allowing it. Especially if you are a Black American, hear me. That ought to piss you off, friends. Because the money that should go for your communities going to now be funneled to the immigrants who are fixing to outnumber you here in America. That is a sad fact. So listen to this clip.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living?
We're not. Truth of the matter, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck with credit card debt. I know people who are legitimately putting gas and groceries on credit cards just so that they can get back and forth to work. I believe that this is what most people are now calling the silent depression. $100 has become the new $20 and it's ridiculous, but the best thing about it is that people have shifted their core values. Look at this app alone and all the videos of all the retailers on Black Friday that nobody was there. They just don't care anymore. People are realizing that if it doesn't bring value into my life, then I don't need it. And while I don't get political on this app, you're having people on both sides of the aisles going, yeah, this kind of sucks. Right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. It's the same bird. And now so many Americans are going, I don't care. I think it's woken a lot of people up to the idea of why are we funding things that we don't care about when all of us right here are struggling. It's changed the people's attitude in the workforce to where a job is just a job. You used to be very loyal to a job, but they've seen that there's no employee loyalty because there's no employer loyalty. People aren't putting up with toxic bosses anymore. You're either going to treat me right or I'm going to leave because there's tons of companies that are hiring because nobody can find help. People just don't trust the system anymore, and they're starting to focus on what matters the most. Most people are out here making more money than they ever have and realizing that it's not going anywhere. So they're just not spending it.
So what do you guys think about what he just said? It's 100% true. And if you have not done so, please consider either joining us as a member on our channel by hitting that join button after you hit that subscribe button, or help us in our GiveSendGo.com Food for Thought campaign, because we are going to grow, harvest, box, deliver, and video it for you, providing food from April to November of 2024 to hungry, needy American families in my community. And you guys, we have raised $1,400 for that, and that is because of you amazing people. Now, let's watch these other clips that are just gonna blow your mind.
And what has made a lot of people turn their back on the system is that now they somehow either make too much or not enough money to qualify for the government assistance that they've been paying into their entire life. There are people out there who can't afford to buy the groceries, but they make too much money to get the food stamps. A lot of people are out here calling it the depression. I like to call it the awakening. People are just realizing how much they can get done on their own and that they don't need the government to hold their hand. So to go back to your question, how are people making it? Financially, I don't really know, but I'm very grateful that people are starting to look for answers.
Good, come, Hammer, sit. Good, sit, Hammer down. Hammer down. Down. Good, down. Look at that paw. God bless you, run through a few of his commands real quick. The paw on the foot, though, y'all. Come on. Come on, Jesus. I love that dog. Love, that is my soulmate dog right here. So going back to what he said, like most Americans simply cannot make it. And you guys, what just burns my booty, okay, just burns my booty, is the fact that we are pumping millions of dollars into housing, food, cell phones, to illegal aliens that literally, legally cannot work. It takes sometimes 6 months to 2 years to get the permits, the green card, get all that crap so they can work and pay taxes. Why not shut the border, slow them down so we can integrate them properly into our society? Because crime rates are going up. Suck it up, Buttercup. I don't care if I hurt your little feelings and you cut me off mid-sentence and you unsubscribe and you tell everybody, don't watch her because she's racist. I don't care. Somebody has to say it. They don't integrate when you let them in millions at a time. They group up, they make their own little communities, and they suck us flipping dry. Don't know about y'all, but I have 80 and 82-year-old parents, and I'm tired of seeing my mom fight with the insurance company over an x-ray that's supposed to be paid for, but they don't want to pay for it. But they want them to pay for it after they've already paid a copay. They're 82 on Social Security. How much more do you want them to pay? They're paying taxes on the Social Security. But you can come here free, illegally, and get everything handed to you. Guys, if you don't start calling your governors, if you don't start going to your city council meetings, getting involved, what's going on in your school boards, and for the ones of us whose kids are grown, it is more our responsibility than people with small kids, because you remember what it's like to have tiny children and have a job too. And right now, more than ever, 2 parents have to work. But I'm going to show you guys some clips of how we make it here at Starkey Farmstead. Okay, because I do make concessions all the time. All the time. I make choices about how we're going to spend our money. Because my husband pays the hard bills, but thank you God we are debt-free, no credit cards. How do we do it? It's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's Saturday night. I'm not out going to the movies and out to eat dinner. I was in my house making my own livestock feed. How are we surviving? Well, you're like Steven and I. We don't have credit cards to fall back on. I make all my own homemade feed for my livestock right here in my kitchen. Do it every single night. Yep. We're returning back to the ways that our grandparents did things. Partially, because I have electricity, and boy, am I thankful for that.
The salary you need to make today to live like your parents did 40 years ago, making $30K a year, is totally depressing. In a TikTok video, financial expert Robert Gill explained that, adjusted for inflation, please sit down and have your emotional support person on standby before proceeding, you'd have to make $162,342 to have the same purchasing power. Now, it's important to understand that inflation isn't just the prices of things going up. It's also the broader price increases across sectors, industries, and ultimately an entire country's economy in general. So it's not just that, say, housing prices are up since 1983. A dollar is actually worth less than it was previously. This is why we're all feeling the pinch, and also why our parents don't seem to get it. Boomers telling us to work harder isn't going to suddenly make our dollars worth more, which led several commenters to ask Gill the question probably on everyone's mind. Does inflation ever really go down? His response, it hasn't in the last 40 years. And this, of course, means that as the value of our money continues to decrease, the amount of money needed to live a stable life will continue to increase. And unless we do something, like say reining in corporate power by having reasonable corporate tax rates like the ones we had even during the beloved Reagan era, for instance, a comfortable life on a normal salary will become more and more unattainable to us average folks. The salary you need to make today to live like your parents...
As our government continues to print money, just print it like it's nothing, they're devaluing your dollar. You want people in Congress and in Senate who are going to vote no to any new spending bills. We should not be spending any money outside of American citizens. What I mean, stop. If you come here illegally, you get no assistance. Suck it up. Do it like the real migrants did it 60 years ago. You get no fallback. If you decide to come, great. Make it or don't make it. You get no assistance. Second, stop funding every war on the planet. Kill the war machine. Decommission it. Pull all the money back from all of that nonsense. Stop the grant programs through the USDA funding all these grants and all these other countries to help them grow food. Put that money back in American growers' pockets. Because if you think it's bad now, wait till none of us are growing food anymore because we can't make a living doing it.
And told a lady that no more money for you. You guys are lazy. Now, I can't make this stuff up. I can't make it up. It's on the internet. I can't make it up. He told her, no more money for you. No more money for you. And you guys are lazy. That's what he told a lady in America. Wow. Wow. You know, now they're going to city council meetings. I guess they're trying to put pressure on the governments. These said governments of Chicago and Denver and New York and Atlanta and Philadelphia, Oklahoma, New Jersey. They're trying to put pressure on these guys. And it's funny that back during Thanksgiving, the food banks was stressed and they were giving food to the communities. But the migrants stepped in and started taking that food. They got in line for that same food that the locals was to receive. You know, it's funny, man. It's interesting how all these things come around and how people think that they think they're entitled to what you have, and you've been paying taxes all your life, and they just arrived, and now they believe that, you know, they believe that their need is bigger than yours, you know. And it's funny, it's a lot of things going on. They were fighting over shelter beds in New York City. You know, it's been a lot of things going on. Arrest, crime, stealing from stores. They were already stealing from like CVS and stuff like that. They would push a baby carriage in there, take the beer, put it in the back of the baby carriage, because they knew that the security didn't want to check a baby carriage. You know, babies don't steal, grown-ups do. So, you know, but it's funny, man. There's a lot of stuff going on with these migrants. A lady from Europe said that the migrants, that she saw a couple of migrants that wanted to go home for Christmas. So if he goes home for Christmas, how is he going to get back in? He's going to have to sneak back in. And then how does he have money to catch a flight to go back to his hometown to see his family? Because that's what she said. She said that he was going home to see his family members for Christmas. So it's a lot of things going on.
I put a video up last night telling you guys the first step, the very first step in the World Economic Forum's One World Agenda was massive illegal migration from third world countries to first world countries. We're in the first step because this step precedes all the others. It's like a domino effect. It's going to destabilize our neighborhoods. Excuse me. It's going to devalue our dollar. It's going to put us deeper in debt. Now we're going to have millions and millions of people here, don't speak the language, have no allegiance to our flag, our beliefs, or our God. It's going to muddy the waters. It's going to overtax our hospitals, our police departments, our schools. Guys, we have 8 years before they have to shut down Social Security. We have 8 more years, and that entire program is gone. I will be 50 this year. That means before I turn 60, there'll be nothing for my retirement from my government. Okay? Things are fixing to get really bad. Get your head out of the sand. Okay? If you have family members, friends who are head in the sand type people, you need to show them this video, because this has nothing to do with Democrats versus Republicans. I've actually voted both ways in my lifetime. This has to do with, do you love this country and what it stands for? Or are you going to sit there while we are being invaded and we are literally in a silent depression and do nothing to stop it for your children and your children's children? Now, if you're that type of person, I promise you this is not your channel. But if you're somebody that wants to meet in the middle, regardless of what your beliefs are, then hit the like and subscribe button. Drop me a comment. Ring the bell. Join in with us. Row in our boats, because we are trying to have a conversation that needs to be had. But I love you guys. I'm not having that conversation in 29-degree weather anymore. So good night. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.
American home buyers right now need to earn an average of $115,000 a year in order to be able to afford the cost of an average house. However, only 34% of households and 18% of individuals are over 100K in the first place. Not even to say 115, just over 100K. And that means that basically 70% of America is facing housing instability, because the average cost of rent in this country is around $1,800 a month, which amounts to $21,000 a year. Honestly, to me, it almost seems like they're asking for, what do they expect us to do? Human beings have a fundamental right to defend their own lives. Being denied a living wage and being denied the ability to provide yourself with a stable home and food and electricity, that is class warfare.